This is Headlines Today. Breaking news. Lalit Modi's days as the IPL commissioner could be numbered. Top sources in the BCCI have told Headlines Today that Modi might be shunted out. His detractors in the cricket body are calling for his head. Plans are afoot to have Modi replaced with the current BCCI chief Shashank Manohar. The formal decision to this effect will be taken at the IPL Governing Council meeting. This meeting is scheduled for the 25th of April. The shrewd IPL boss will need to do his maths carefully before the Governing Council meets. The numbers from what we have learned do not favor him. Currently, the IPL czar has had an unchallenged reign for over 3 years, but he faces his biggest asset test when the Governing Council meets. Who stands where? What is likely to happen? Why is the mood inside the BCCI now turning against the dream merchant? That's our top focus on Centre Stage tonight.
You're watching Centre Stage with Rahul Kaval.
For the first time in 60 years, income tax investigators knocked on the BCCI's doors, and the finances of the IPL were the reason. The IPL's finances are being thoroughly investigated by the income tax department. We saw surveys being carried out in Mohali. An investigation is being carried out into the Rajasthan Royals teams. So the finances of all the IPL teams are currently being looked at. Meanwhile, in Parliament, Shashi Tharoor, the beleaguered Minister of State for External Affairs, rose to defend Sunanda Pushkar. He said she's not a proxy of his. He said she's got strong business interests. But Headlines Today has access documents to show that this could possibly be amongst the sweetest deals in corporate history. The woman on your screen has a part of the profits but no part of the losses accruing from the Kochi IPL franchise. Why did she get such a sweetheart deal? We'll talk about that on Centre Stage this evening, and also look at what happens to Shashi Tharoor. Are his days numbered as well? The Prime Minister comes back in some time from now. The final decision will be taken at that time. The Centre Stage will be tracking these two stories very, very closely. But let's get started. These are the headlines today. Facing stiff opposition over his proxy IPL stake, Shashi Tharoor launches a counter-attack in Parliament, defends his lady friend Sunanda in the lower house, plays the Kerala card to claim he's absolutely clean. Manmohan Hu Jintao Bonhomi was only for the cameras. Now China plays dirty with an ace Indian shooter from Arunachal. Pemba Tamang misses World Cup flight to Beijing due to a stapled visa. Soon after announcing a blanket SMS ban in Jammu and Kashmir, the government develops cold feet. Home Ministry intervenes after Omar protests, directs the DOT to withdraw the order. Does General Musharraf have Benazir's blood on his uniform? UN report indicts the Pak Army for the former PM's assassination, says her security was fatally compromised, blames the army for trying to scuttle the probe and remove forensic evidence. An ash-spewing Iceland volcano turns the skies of northern Europe into a no-fly zone. Over 5,000 planes are grounded by a cloud made of rock, glass and sand. Even the Prime Minister's flight is rescheduled to avoid Frankfurt. The hunter suddenly seems to have become the hunted. Lalit Modi has gone from being the all-powerful czar of the IPL to a chastened version in the space of 24 hours. The swagger is gone, and so is his characteristic cockiness. That's what one night of income tax raids has done to him. More importantly, his detractors within the BCCI have closed in for the kill. Headlines Today has learned that Lalit Modi is most likely going to be axed as the IPL commissioner. Headlines Today's political editor Javed Ansari with this exclusive report.
IPL मेरा सपना था और लोग कहते हैं कि सपने कभी पूरे नहीं होते.
And that seems to be the case. Lalit Modi's IPL dream could well be over. His unchallenged reign over the IPL could end very soon. Top BCCI sources have told Headlines Today that Lalit Modi is likely to get the axe. The move is expected in the upcoming meeting of the IPL Governing Council on the 24th of April. Hopelessly outnumbered, Lalit Modi is likely to face strong opposition from hostile members of the Governing Council. Modi's future now depends on these BCCI mandarins. Shashank Manohar, President BCCI. N. Srinivasan, Secretary BCCI. Niranjan Shah, Vice Chairman IPL. Arun Jaitley, Vice President BCCI. Rajiv Shukla, Chairman Media and Finance BCCI. I.S. Bindra, President Punjab Cricket Association. Farooq Abdullah, President J&K Cricket Association. Ravi Shastri, Sunil Gavaskar and Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi. And the man tipped to replace Lalit Modi is the BCCI top boss Shashank Manohar. However, BCCI officials have rubbished all reports, calling them media speculation.
ये सब आपके मीडिया की स्पेकुलेशंस है और आप लोग तय कर रहे हैं बीसीसीआई ने क्या करना चाहिए और बीसीसीआई कैसे आगे रुख लेगी, तो इसके बारे में मैं तो कुछ बता नहीं सकता हूँ क्योंकि ये एक स्टोरी चला रही कोई चैनल, उसको सारे चैनल दिखा रहे।
बीसीसीआई प्रेसिडेंट ने इस पूरे प्रकरण को बहुत गंभीरता से लिया है और इसीलिए उन्होंने तत्काल जो है गवर्निंग काउंसिल की मीटिंग बुलाई है। गवर्निंग काउंसिल की मीटिंग में इस पर विचार विमर्श होगा और इसका जो भी निर्णय लेना होगा गवर्निंग काउंसिल में लिया जाएगा।
But the man in the eye of the storm looked as cool as a cucumber when he arrived in Dharamshala, where all BCCI bigwigs are meeting on the sidelines of the inauguration of a cricket stadium.
There is no problem. All of us have come to enjoy the match. Otherwise, we will be sitting at home. We have nothing to hide and nothing to say, and all we are here to take the IPL forward.
मुश्किलें तो बहुत आई पर मैंने कभी हार नहीं मानी, क्योंकि मैं दुनिया की आवाज नहीं सुनता हूँ तो सिर्फ अपने दिल की आवाज।
With bureau inputs, Justin C. Murick, headlines today.
The one question I'm sure you've had over the last couple of days is that what could have provoked Lalit Modi's tweet that started it all? Why did he really unleash this can of worms? Was he aware that the taxman was preparing a rock-solid case against him, and did he wish to preempt any investigation into his baby, the IPL? The tax axe fell on the Indian Premier League yesterday, but Headlines Today has in its possession these documents that prove that this case was being prepared for the last 15 days at least. The directions to probe the IPL came from the Standing Committee of Parliament. The Standing Committee of Finance wrote to the Government of India demanding that the tax assessed from the BCCI and the IPL and the revenue foregone because of the tax exemptions and deductions given to industry, business houses and corporates associated with the IPL be looked into. This was then acted on by the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax in Mumbai. That's how the investigation began. Lalit Modi received a notice in the beginning of April. That's how he knew that the Income Tax Department was closing in on his case. This is a Headlines Today exclusive on what's really happening behind the scenes. Where is this income tax investigation going? Take a look.
Lalit Modi emerging just after 3 in the morning after facing an 8-hour grilling by the Income Tax Department.
Asked for all the documentation. It took time because the documentation for the bidding process, as we know, sits in different places of the BCCI. So the documentation was bought. They had to photocopy all the documentation. They had to verify the documentation. They had to sign every piece of paper.
The tax act was readied a full 2 weeks back, and that's when Modi decided to preempt income tax investigations. His 12th April tweet questioning Kochi investors may have been an attempt to deflect IT probe into IPL accounts.
Headlines Today has in its possession an order of the Standing Committee on Finance ordering the Income Tax Department to answer. The breakup of revenue foregone by way of tax exemptions to BCCI and IPL, tax assessed and collected from the BCCI and IPL and their franchises for the last 3 years. One day later, that is on April the 1st, the Income Tax Department directed its Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, Bangalore and Hyderabad offices to furnish the information the same day.
Modi was aware that a tax investigation could open a can of worms for the IPL. Targeting Tharoor was easy, especially once he became aware of his closeness with Sunanda Pushkar. Once the focus was shifted to the minister, the uproar so caused would derail the government efforts to make IPL come clean.
The marathon interrogation of Modi began with questions relating to Kochi's bid. Lalit Modi was asked about his allegations regarding a lack of transparency in the case of Rendezvous Group. He was also asked to furnish proof to back his claim. Modi was also asked to provide details of other IPL franchisees along with their contract agreement. Modi was specifically asked about the route of the financial transactions and the money coming in from Dubai. He was also asked if there were any NRI stakeholders who have invested from abroad. Modi was also grilled about the tax paid on the profits and if there was any incident of tax evasion. He was asked if the money paid by franchisees was in the form of cash or check and where it was deposited.
Talking to Headlines Today, sources in the Income Tax Department refused to rule out the possibility of an inquiry into Modi's activities, even not immediately. They had also recorded a 20-page statement of Lalit Modi. Significantly, the department has also said that the possibility of sending notices to Sonam Pushkar and other Kochi's investors very much exists. Virendra Singh in Mumbai for Headlines Today.
So will the dream merchant, the man who spun this billion-dollar baby, Lalit Modi, survive the current storm? That's the big center stage face-off for tonight. Joining us, Abhishek Singhvi, MP and national spokesperson of the Congress party, Siddharth Nath Singh of the BJP. MJ Akbar is once again with us on the show this evening, as also Javed Ansari, Headlines Today's political editor. I've got Rahul Mehra, he's an advocate of the Supreme Court. He's the man who first, several years ago, asked for an inquiry to be conducted into the murky dealings in the finances of the BCCI. And Pradeep Magazine, one of the country's senior most sports journalists, is also with us. I want to begin by asking you this question, Javed. You broke the story this morning by speaking to senior sources in the BCCI. How certain are they? They want Lalit Modi to go, but how certain are they that they'll be able to make this happen?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Everything about the IPL is $1 million. This is the million-dollar question. Everybody wants him to go for their own reasons. They believe he's become too big for his boots, larger than the institution. But let's not forget that the BCCI and especially the IPL, but more so the BCCI, this is an exclusive club where everybody scratches each other's back and they try and save each other's skin. So one doesn't know what will happen eventually. But the feeling within the BCCI, and this is what officials and all those connected with the game, running of the game, is that this guy has outlived his utility, that he's too big for his boots, and he's bad news for Indian cricket.
Okay, Pradeep Magazine, BCCI sources indicating that they want to clip Lalit Modi's wings. He's rubbed several people the wrong way, but will they be able to do so, or do you think this magician will be able to survive this scare as well?
Well, I doubt will he be able to survive, because he may survive at the moment. It's like Tharoor is surviving at the moment because Congress won't be seen as taking action immediately, because since BJP has raised this issue, it's become a political issue. Within BCCI, Modi is the man whom they gave all the powers to create IPL. They were doubtful whether IPL will be created or not. It was Modi who was pushing for it. And once he did this, they didn't question him on anything. And there were deals within deals which they allowed him to do. But now that everything has surfaced, and now that Modi is becoming so defiant, even today Modi went on television cameras saying that I will make Tharoor shut up. And see, these are things in a fight like this, no organization, even if it's a very clean organization, would want to happen. Something like IPL and BCCI, whose IPL's funding is doubtful, so much money is at stake, and with Modi taking such dramatic and even defiant stance, I know for a fact that nobody in the board actually is happy with the way Modi has functioned. But whether they will be able to do away with him is doubtful at the moment.
Abhishek Singhvi, the perception at this time seems to be that these income tax raids, the surveys were ordered only after the government figured out that Lalit Modi was tweeting and revealing uncomfortable details about a Minister of State in the Union Cabinet. There have been demands in the past as well to find out the funding, the sources of IPL funding. That was never really looked into. Why, after the tweets, did the government suddenly get activated? Today we saw there was a survey conducted in Mohali. Rajasthan Royals finances are being looked at. We saw Lalit Modi being questioned for several hours in Mumbai last night. Why all of this happened after the tweets and not before that? Does it reek of political vendetta?
If the insinuation is that this is a retributive reaction, either at the behest of Mr. Tharoor or because a minister of the Congress government has been attacked and therefore the Congress government is reacting, or because of Mr. Modi's BJP association allegedly, etc., etc. I think this is laughable. Let me very quickly and unemotionally dissect the various facets of the problem. There is a BCCI issue. The Congress as a party is not concerned with it. Indeed, the government is not concerned with it, except that if any institution, including the BCCI in this country, has allegations of commercial impropriety or illegality, then any of the statutory authorities, including the Income Tax Department, can and should take action. If any information is laid, today for the last 1 week, if information is coming in the press, the Income Tax Department is so motu entitled to take action. Indeed, several other departments are. And at the moment, what the course of the action is very unclear. What has been found out is very unclear. I don't think anything penal has happened yet, unless and until concrete facts emerge. Number two is Mr. Modi. As a party, the Congress is not concerned about him. As the government is not concerned about him. He is not in politics, he is not in public life. Again, if he commits impropriety, he suffers the same fate, whether from the FERA, whether from IT. Indeed, if you do or I do, we have the same status.
No, but Dr. Singhvi, you're not answering my question. Headlines today has in its possession documents to prove that investigators from the Income Tax Department, so hear me out, investigators from the Income Tax Department had prepared this report several weeks ago. That report was prepared, kept, and everybody was sitting on it. It's only after Lalit Modi tweeted, threatened to reveal details about the makeup of the Kochi IPL franchise, that's when the Income Tax Department got active, and that's when these raids were ordered. My question is, why so, sir?
But do you realize your allegation doesn't, do you realize the allegation doesn't have a middle, an end or a beginning? The allegation to be true must involve that to help Mr. Tharoor and his Kochi team, the government of India has activated the Income Tax Department. That's something laughable. These things take time. The Income Tax Department has to proceed according to a process, and when the Income Tax Department must have found that additional allegations are coming in the press, they've taken action. The only way your allegation would be true, mind you, the way it is made, is if the government of India is alleged to be acting at the behest of Mr. Tharoor or the behest of the Kochi team. No. Not even the BJP is making that allegation.
Dr. Singhvi, I want to state over here, we're not making any allegation, I'm just asking a very simple question, and Siddharth Singh is nodding his head. He wants to come in on this and respond to you.
See, the IPL thing has been going on for 3 years. Time and again, with Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi may be, having a short memory here, but time and again in the media and otherwise in the parliament, people have raised these high stakes and the auction bids which is being going on. Now, if it is happening, we do need to have the transparency. There is nothing wrong. If it has happened today or it had happened earlier. Now the question is the time. The time is a suspect. All this hullabulla which is happening around Mr. Tharoor, the way the government is going about it, I must remind my good friend here that the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, when he was the finance minister in Lakhubai case, he had said that the Caesar's wife should be above suspicion. Now here we have a case which is absolutely quid pro quo. Now, and the government comes with an action, so the whole thing becomes a suspect. Now the government could have done earlier. IPL is not born of yesterday. It is born almost 3 years back.
Okay, so, MJ Akbar, Abhishek Manu Singhvi says there's nothing suspicious about the timing. The BJP says the timing is highly suspect. What do you make of it?
Well, the Prime Minister said something about Caesar's wife. He didn't say anything about Caesar's girlfriend. So, but this story really, I think Abhishek said that it's very laughable. I'm laughing for very different reasons, frankly. That, at one level, this is a very plain tale of parties and trying to protect their face when much has been lost. There is a fundamental difference between the problems of Lalit Modi and the problems of Shashi Tharoor. Lalit Modi remains, as was said by Abhishek himself, a private person, a private sector person. And so he will be accountable to the fiscal laws of the country. But Shashi Tharoor's case is different because he is a public servant. He is a minister of the government of India, and the important thing is, and this is a point which is being missed, I think he is the first Congress minister in Manmohan Singh's 6 years who is being publicly pilloried for corruption.
MJ, I'm coming to Shashi Tharoor. We've got stories about him and how Sunanda Pushkar got this sweetheart deal. But before that, I want to go across once to Rahul Mehra. He is the one person, our viewers must know, who's been fighting against the BCCI's murky finances for very long. He filed a case that's currently going on. Rahul, when you look back, is there a sense of deja vu? This is exactly what you've been saying. You've been demanding this action. Abhishek Manu Singhvi saying on the show tonight, the action has been taken when the reports came out in the media. Do you believe that there's a strong case for this action to have been taken long back?
Well, there was and there's always been, but let me start by saying that we should, all the stakeholders, which is the public at large, should be very happy that this has come, although a bit too late in the day, but better late than never. Dr. Singhvi was also the lawyer when we had argued this case, and frankly he didn't have a case on behalf of BCCI, but he, being an absolute legal wizard, he tried to make something out of nothing. Having said that, it's an open and shut case in the court of law. There's a decision by the Delhi High Court on October 4, 2004, subsequently challenged by BCCI, and Dr. Singhvi was a lawyer in the Supreme Court as well, and there is a stamp of the Supreme Court as well on it, which says that BCCI, though a privately registered body under the Societies Registration Act, under the Tamil Nadu Societies Registration, is performing very key functions which are akin to state public functions, and anybody which is performing public functions can be and should be accountable and should be transparent in its functioning. So this is a call which has come a bit too late, but I think the entire discussion is misdirected. Why should we question as to under what circumstances and why did the government of the day investigate into the matter? What we should welcome is that, if not voluntarily, BCCI is now going to be challenged forcibly to come out in the open, to come in the public domain, to disclose funds, to disclose shareholdings of various IPL franchisees. To now hopefully good sense will prevail, and this I've been asking for the last almost 3.5 to 4 years. Mr. Modi has done a commendable job in having a vision for IPL, in implementing it, in showing his market abilities, but at the same time, if even 1/10 or 1/100th of that endeavor would have been shown by the authorities at the IPL or the BCCI to get their website, which has been under construction for almost 3.5 years, it would have actually gone a long way to show to the public, to the stakeholders, that they actually mean business, they want to be transparent, and there is nothing out there in their coffers which they are hiding from the public in general. And secondly, I want to make a very quick point on the entire IPL thing. The issue involved out here is much more serious. I think it is very susceptible to fixing and betting. International cartels are in operation. Everybody knows that heavy sattas are being placed, and what takes, it only took Hansi Cronje, an honorable person as everybody perceived him, to throw a game for a nation. He was playing for a nation for a few $1,000s. Out here, millions and billions are at stake, and I don't believe that players are above board, and the same old match fixing